Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be taking a look in this training module at how to dial in our borderline spark timing tables so that we are reaching the optimal power out of our engine in conjunction with our knock control system. So we'll find the way that Ford has programmed everything. We're going to be looking at the borderline tables to start at higher throttle angles, higher load, full throttle situations. And it's going to be able to work its way up to maximum brake torque or the cylinder pressure limit or the pre-ignition limit tables. So once it reaches one of those, so those are going to be acting as the ceiling, the borderline is the floor, the knock advance can start to advance itself up to one of those tables as the limit. What we're going to do is to actually try to find the spark timing limit here, seeing if we can optimize and pick any more power out of our engine here, which is the basic bolt-ons on our mainline chassis dyno. Now, you don't need a chassis dyno to do this process. You do need to be able to take a look at the data and analyze it and understand what you're looking at, and also prep your tables in a very specific way so that the knock advance isn't adding up to, say, 10 degrees of timing in it. It's only adding maybe 2 to 3 degrees. That's usually the sweet spot. We'll be able to get the best power out of our engine, still leave some room for error in terms of the spark advance. If there's, we don't want to run it right up to maximum brake torque. We want it to be having some ability to advance itself or retard itself in order to save the engine if there's knock or pre-ignition. So let's learn how we're going to prep things in our file. We'll do a baseline pull, figure out where we're at, and then start to tweak and adjust some things. A couple pulls, we should have this worked out here on our dyno. So we're just going to go through the process from start to finish and take a look at everything. I don't expect to necessarily gain any power. We might gain some power, but what I would expect is that I'll be able to make that power easier, have it accessible quicker without having the knock advance trying to add it constantly in. So the way that factory is, it runs pretty low borderline table values, and it allows a 10-degree window for the knock control to advance the timing up towards those ceiling tables I just described: maximum brake torque, spark, the combustion limit, and the pre-ignition limit. So let's look at all this and make sense of this. So the file I have open here, let's go ahead and save this as a new folder. This is going to be in our training course folder. I'm saving this under the sample data log files. So I'm going to call this Spark Tuning Borderline. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and here. Let me save that file there. Let's go and save as, actually want to create a new folder here. That's what I was trying to do, is create a new folder. So we want to go ahead and say Spark Tuning Borderline. Okay. And then we'll drag our file into that folder. There we go. So we have that saved. Okay, so this is our starting point. We have our new folder saved, so you can access this file if you'd like. Let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at the changes we want to make. So under General, we're going to skip to Spark. Now we have our advanced area. This is where we're going to be working with for the majority of the video. So the very first thing we want to do is raise up our limit tables that could be limiting us so that we have a pretty large range to add spark timing in to figure out what the engine actually is going to want to get us the maximum safe power out. So it's going to go in here to our pre-ignition limit, into our cylinder pressure limit. I'm going to raise these table values up pretty high. Let's just get the spark pressure limit out of the way. Let's raise this to all values of 60 right now. And then let's go in here to our pre-ignition limit. And I'm also going to go ahead and raise these values way high to a value of 60. So it just gets these two out of the way. So what we'll find is the only limiting spark table, or the only limiting ceiling, is going to be coming from our maximum brake torque values. Now, in my case, I'm calling out maximum brake torque 0 through 6 in my custom VCT scheduling because I've deleted the intake manifold runner control. We've talked about that throughout the training course. So what I want to do right now is go into my maximum brake torque tables and raise these values up so that I'm able to advance to a potentially higher spark timing value. I don't want to see anything higher than 30 degrees maximum on pump gas. I don't think we'll ever get that high, but that's the highest I want to allow the engine to get to, potentially get to. We're going to have the knock control, taking a look at the borderline table, starting there, and then it's going to be able to add up to the value that we call out in maximum brake torque. Now we're going to come back in and reconfigure all these tables once we're done, but we want to raise these thresholds or limits up. I'm going to go in here and just raise this up to a maximum here of 30 degrees. Even 28 degrees would be fine just to have a kind of a safe starting point, but I'll do 30 degrees and see if it's going to allow us to actually get up that high. So let's go here and do equals 30 degrees. And let's go up here and just do a vertical interpolation. Now we can always return these values back to the previous values that were in here. I do want to be careful at 2000 and not go that far of an advanced value. So probably say 2500 and higher and putting the maximum at 30 degrees. So that was going to be on my map point 1. Map point 2, we'll do the same thing. So I'm going to go in here, set the 2500 and higher to 30. And then just do a little bit of interpolation and do a little bit of interpolation downwards. And so I'm not doing 0 because that's emissions reduction. So we're really worried about map points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's do the same thing here. We're going to cap at 30. And let's undo that. I want to do 30 from 2500 and higher. So let's do 30 there. And let's vertically interpolate. And let's horizontally interpolate. Okay. Let's do 4. So again, 2500 and higher. We're going to do 30. And we're going to go here and interpolate. And we're going to interpolate. And we're going to go to map point 5, do the same thing here. And interpolate again.
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here. And you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.